Culture Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. It is episode 213 on the dial. Today we're going to be talking about martial arts flicks. We know them, we love them, we've had our favorites over the years, but we want to put it to the rest. What were our best 5 scenes that we've seen of all time? But also we're going to talk about the evolution of martial arts movies and where they've been and where they might be going. But to the right of me, because I'm sitting in a new position, to the right of me, the great Adakuji. Across from me is GQ, and from remote is Fallen Marvel. What's up, fellas?
Hey,
what's up?
How's everybody doing this evening?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. But Facebook is being, well, actually, no. It's not Facebook's fault. It's not Facebook's fault. It is UMG's fault. UMG is a bunch of pricks. No, I hate these guys.
I think we're actually on Facebook stream right now.
Oh, we are? Okay, well,
that's still a bunch of pricks.
They are still a bunch of pricks.
They are. That does not change.
That does not change at all.
Yeah, they don't get saved.
Yeah, they don't get saved just because they're streaming now. Like, we have to go through the hassle when we're getting ready to stream and, put in this content block and all. Yeah, I'm tired of it. Anyway.
Fallen Marvel is checking in as well, though. How you doing over there, sir?
Yeah.
I am doing pretty good, I think. I've finally got some things straightened up.
Right.
Yeah.
He's coming through good. I can hear him.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Should be getting me. I don't know.
Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Anyway, so if
it's up. Hopefully it doesn't hurt you guys' ears.
Yeah. Just don't get too loud. Just don't get too loud. Anyway, but we do have a permanent solution for this. We have a brand new URL for people to go to. It's culturejunkies.live. That's where you can come and watch us. And actually, even if we're doing a really great job and we're entertaining you, you can toss us a little change in the tip jar. That would be awesome. What do you think about that?
Like they said in Coming to America, we appreciate the money that jingles. But we would definitely love to have the money that flows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that.
I love that. That's a great one. Anyway, we had a lot of crazy news happen over the past couple of days. Let's run the gamut.
Run the gamut.
I come to the voices of Detroit muscle.
I thought you said that thing was random. That was the same one from last week.
It is random. I'm telling you, it is random.
Random back to the same one from last week.
Anyway, it was just coincidence.
Random.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Anyway,
randomly
so
repeated today.
Off real quick. Apparently, Ruby Rose has decided that she don't want to be Batwoman no more.
What?
I mean, it's supposed to be season 2 supposed to be coming up, but like, you know what? I don't want to be Batwoman no more. And it's like, okay, hold on.
Like, who says that?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, you had Robert Pattinson don't want to work out as Batman. Now you got Batwoman that don't want to be Batwoman. So
we got problems in Gotham like 2 weeks in a row.
I guess so. So they're going to recast, and like Dido said, I don't think I've ever heard of this. Like, you're the lead on the show, and you like, I'm done.
You just
like,
quit.
Good.
Like,
it's
literally
not just
quit.
any superheroes, any show,
right?
Ever where somebody is the lead, just like after one season, like, I'm not doing it no more.
Right.
Not one show.
Like, at least Aunt Viv, original Aunt Viv got kicked off the show.
Fired. Like, she got straight up fired.
But it was not even
bitter
Aunt
to
Viv.
this day.
This would have been Will Smith saying, I don't want to be this no more.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Aunt Viv is bitter to this day that she got fired.
Like, it's like, look, if you causing trouble on the set, but no, that's weird. It's like she's just up and just done with the role. So.
Well, some of the details did say that it was more of a mutual decision. It wasn't just 100% her. So there's a bunch of other details that are out there about that. But
hold on. The mutual decision means they wasn't making no money.
Well,
that's what that means.
I mean,
I don't know.
Mutual decision is code for not making any money.
Yeah, I mean,
in regards to this story, it said that supposedly it had something to do with her getting hurt during the filming of the first season. And I don't know if that is like the main thing. It probably isn't. But whatever the case may be, it's just weird. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Hopefully I don't know. Like, I checked out of the show like early on in the season. So honestly, I'm like in the pool of people that don't care. So I don't know, man. Like, this is just it's strange, man. Like, I think for a show like this is unprecedented. This is like really.
It absolutely.
It wasn't just her being hurt though. What I read is she's saying that the
No, she
The
hated it.
schedule was just too much.
Yeah, well, for her,
Right.
this is someone that's been a career kind of like secondary actress. This
Yeah.
was her first lead, and she hated it in Vancouver. From what I'm spilling all the tea, and we're supposed to be moving on, but
Yeah, we are.
yeah,
Like,
we are. But
like,
I'm spilling all the tea. I'll
write
try and make it
write
quick.
an article, man.
Right? Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll talk about it. But anyway, the other really super crazy news was, I guess all the Snyder bots got their wish. The Snyder cut is coming, but there's a little bit of a caveat
I don't
to
know.
it.
I smell egg on somebody's face.
There's
over
no,
here.
I mean, look.
The Snyder cut ain't never gonna happen.
I don't think
I
didn't think it would ever happen.
Yeah.
You want to know why I
With
said that?
less than 3 months.
But why did I say that? I said it would take a bunch of money to complete it, and here we are, $20 to $30 million later. I didn't think it was gonna happen.
A whole another year too.
Yeah, and
Right.
a whole another year.
So-
and
hey,
it's not even
hey.
going to be a full theatrical cut.
How long did the Donner cut take?
Look, okay, the Donner cut was mostly done, so
that
I
was
don't wanna
like-
hear that.
That was like 30 years.
Right.
And it's
Exactly.
Like,
So this took.
but to Keenan's point, the movie was
Uh-huh.
basically already done.
The movie was
Like,
practically done. So
Again, I love how y'all are making all these caveats.
But
and
it's true.
And I don't know if y'all need help with that goalpost or not. But, but the fact of the matter is,
Yeah, okay.
this movie was constantly said it's never gonna happen,
Mm-hmm.
not gonna be done. This and that, and blah blah blah. They got it done with basically within a year.
okay, look. $20 to $30 million later, the thing is going to come out. It's still not actually going to be a film. They say it's going to be more 6 30-minute TV episodes that they can put out over the course of time. Because if
What?
they did, because if they did a full 3-hour, 4-hour movie, people would just do the free trial sign up and then just quit. And that's what it
Are you trying to say that movies at home ain't that lucrative?
I mean, there is a catch to it, so I mean,
Dude,
anyway.
I am
And it
not
is on the
about to
streaming
watch an
service.
episodic version. I'm not watching the
Episodic
extended
movie.
episodic
Yeah.
version of a movie
Well,
that
see,
I've already seen.
Well, see, that's it. That's it. I don't think it's going to be a full movie. They're going to splice it with commentary from Zack Snyder and probably his wife. They're probably going to get some commentary from Jason Momoa and some other stars.
Let me put it this way.
Dude.
Put it this way. Once I get all the files, it's gonna be a.
It's gonna be a super slide.
It's gonna be
A
an
super cut.
actual
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Once
super cut.
Once I'm done editing that together.
Right, it's going to be a super cut. So, it's not going to come out till 2021, and we'll see what's going to go on there.
Snyder cut.
Dada, what you got?
You guys kind of took everything. Mine is a little bit small, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah, ain't nothing small.
I
What?
saw a video of the RoboCop versus Terminator in Mortal Kombat 11,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, that's cool.
All right.
I love his
enough.
voice, man.
Fair enough.
Hey, but look, was that really Arnold's voice?
It sounds
Yeah.
like Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold
Yeah.
did the voice for it.
Really? That's
yeah.
cool. That's
Oh,
cool.
dude,
No,
trust me.
they got
Warner
Peter
Brothers
Welling
went to
for
the
it.
bank.
Warner Brothers got money, dude.
Wait a minute.
They just don't know how to use it most
They-
of the time.
Was RoboCop Peter
Right.
Weller too?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got Peter
Whoa.
Weller.
Dude,
Yeah.
when they had in Justice, they had Stephen Amell do the voice just for a costume. They had Phil Lamar come in to do the voice for a costume.
That's true.
So they
Yeah.
got money. They
It's-
just don't always know how to spend it.
WB Games is throwing some money at folks right now. So
Okay.
hopefully, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of really just in this weird place with MK11 right now. So I don't know, kind of the spectacle, the wow effect of it or whatever. I'm already over with.
I haven't
about
even
it
opened
already.
my copy.
They about to have
Newsflash,
a complete
Dido
edition,
has not
a complete
opened up.
edition is about to drop, I think, in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and you haven't even opened it yet. That's fine.
Newsflash,
Right.
he hasn't
Well,
watched. He hasn't played it yet.
And also,
Yeah, I mean, I
also
just
double
bought
check.
it like 3 weeks ago.
That's
so.
fair, but I mean, it's still
So
funny.
yeah, just also double check when you open it to see if you have to pay an extra $40 again.
You probably do. That's
Right.
one of the reasons why I didn't open it, because they're gonna come out with a complete. Because I did this with Mortal Kombat 10. I love 9 so much.
9 was the best
Bought
one,
9,
though.
great.
9 was awesome.
I think I bought it at
Yeah.
full price because it was good. And that was years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And,
Well, 9 was worth it though. at
but it
full
was
price.
definitely worth
Yeah.
it. So when 10 came out, I believe I bought 10 at full price. And then I don't know how many months later they came out with that XL one. And I'm like, holy crap. And I ended up buying the XL one and never opening it because I played through the story mode of 10. And 10 story mode was just so short and sucked compared to 9's. I was just like, do I even want to keep going back and play this?
All I
Yeah,
know
10
is-
was kind of short.
10
Yeah.
was very short compared to 9.
Mm-hmm.
All I know
Yeah.
is one day you're going to open all your stuff, you're going to have enough cellophane to pack a whole bunch of Amazon
Yeah,
packages.
well, yeah. I mean, it's not like I don't want to play the stuff. I actually sat down and started playing the new game because people who are on Facebook, if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can find me through the Culture Junkies fan page or what have you. I do played the games that haven't beat yet, and Super Mario 3D World is my new game that I'm playing right now, and pretty soon I'm gonna stream
Which
that.
one is Super Mario 3D World?
It came out for the Wii.
Da
Wii.
The original?
Excuse me, Da Wii U.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
was about to say,
No.
like, you
Not
went
that
all
Wii.
going way back.
But
Yeah.
I do have
Yeah,
a
that
game
would
on it
be-
because Donkey Kong Country Returns is on the Wii, and I actually want to. I opened it up. And I wanted to see how it was compared to Donkey Kong Country, and it's so weird because like my brain knows that the graphics on the Wii is better than the Super Nintendo one, but it just
He was
saying
still
that, like,
curious.
it's saying like it doesn't like
Does not compute.
yeah, it's
Does
like
not
the Super
compute.
Nintendo one just looks so good,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but like I don't know how to say it. It's just like it's not better looking, but it feels like it is, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's because it's a greater accomplishment on a cartridge than it is on a disc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it plays very well, and I go back and play my old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start playing the stuff I haven't played yet, and it's gonna happen. It's just slow. Sorry. So
Yeah,
whatever.
we'll get around to it. But I did start, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I have been having some technical difficulties, but I will get them fixed out. But I plan on doing some episodic chapters as I play through it. But anyway, that was Run the Gamut. That
was fun.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. It wasn't as brief as I think we wanted it to be, but hey, it's a work in progress.
When
We'll
is
keep it
everything
going.
brief with us?
No, we almost
didn't
went
do
to
bad. It's
midnight
only
last
11 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that
That's all
bad.
right.
It's not that bad. Anyway, keep it going in the comments, and when the Power is Yours comes up, we'll revisit some of these topics that we didn't get to.
Mixed reaction.
All right, so this past weekend, the Scoob film was direct to video, much to the chagrin of people like GQ across from me. But it came out video on demand. Another kids movie. I don't think it did nearly as well as Trolls World Tour from the sales. I haven't seen any articles about it.
Didn't it just come out?
Yeah, it literally just came out,
It's
but
good.
Trolls just came out too. When Trolls came out, it did a little bit.
Trolls was out for a couple weeks before that announcement.
Oh,
hit.
okay, all
so
right.
Everybody acting like Trolls like dropped like it was Endgame and made like $1 billion
$1 billion,
in a day.
right. I
Like,
know.
don't think-
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like, nah.
So anyway, the Scoob movie was kind of a Hanna-Barbera attempt to make a interconnected universe. Not like Hanna-Barbera needed help with this, because they did do Laugh Olympics back in the day, where all of their characters were basically in a race around the world type deal. So this really isn't nothing new if you've been an old school cartoon watcher of theirs. But it was cute. Was it like the most awesome thing ever? No, I mean it was a kids movie, but it was good.
Frank Welker doing all the voices
No.
basically.
Frank
Frank
Welker
Welker
only
wasn't- he
only
he
did
did
Scooby.
return.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
He
only
did
did
return to
Scooby.
do
though.
Scoob.
Yeah,
Okay.
he only did
I was about to
Scooby.
say in Laugh Olympics, he basically could have did everybody.
Everybody.
You wouldn't have even known.
I mean, like literally, he was Hanna-Barbera's Mel Blanc. Like
yeah.
literally, he was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Frank Welker only did Scooby, which was, I guess, in a way, kind of disappointing because he normally did Fred too. But
Well, didn't Freddie Prinze Jr. take over that?
no,
Live
live
action,
action
yeah.
he
Oh.
did, and
I thought,
so
I thought he did a voice in something.
I don't know.
He might have early on, but
Star
I'm
Wars
not
Rebels,
I'm
yeah.
not really sure.
Yeah,
He
but
might have.
He didn't do Freddy in any of the Scooby.
Are you sure? Because like
Pretty
after he
sure.
did the live action, I thought he did the voice in one of the because remember they kept
One of the
making
animated movies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like around
Maybe
that
he
same
did.
time, just to have the continuity. But I could be off.
But
Who
I
knows?
know Matthew Lillard did do
Yeah.
Shaggy for
Matthew Lillard is Shaggy. I don't
he
give a
is
damn.
Shaggy, and he got replaced by Will Forte, who was terrible to me as Shaggy. I did not like him as Shaggy.
When
I would
I
have much
first-
rather
the first
rather
time
A
I
have
saw
lot
him.
of
Scream.
quite a few people are saying that.
Yeah.
Quite a few people are saying that.
First
It's
time I
crazy.
saw Scream, Matthew Lillard was Shaggy, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I was like, if they ever make a Scooby Doo movie, they need to get this guy to be Shaggy. And lo and behold, they
Yeah,
did. I was like,
I mean,
sweet.
and it was brilliant casting.
Oh,
but
hell yeah.
so they did have a few changes, and I'll turn it over to Dado because he watched it too. They had a couple of interesting changes. Blue Falcon, who was in the movie, it isn't the Blue Falcon that we grew up with. He actually retired. It's his son.
Okay.
And they had Captain Caveman in there, was played by,
Captain
but he was played as Tracy Morgan, and
Yeah.
he was actually
was
kind of funny.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was actually
All right.
really
That's
funny,
perfect.
man.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
he was really funny. But one of Captain Caveman's angels from his show, Dee Dee Sykes, who was the leader, the black girl that was the leader of the group,
Yeah.
she's actually Blue Falcon's like right hand like the
Okay.
new Blue Falcon's right hand, and she was cool.
She's a Falcon Punch.
Yeah, so couple of the very last interesting thing that they did, Velma, they turned into a full-on Latino because she was voiced by Gina Rodriguez.
Latina.
So yeah, like literally, like they did a pan from Freddie, who's white. They did Daphne, who was white, and then you look at Velma, and she's clearly brown skin. Clearly brown skin, different. So anyway,
what was Daphne's last name?
I forget.
I don't know.
I forget. You got a
Then
computer.
it's
you can
Freddie
look that up.
Jones in it.
Yeah, I know it's Freddie Jones. I always thought that was
Freddie Jones.
interesting.
And you know that was, I guess, that was the other thing that made it kind of weird because it's like, what Latino girl his last name Dinkley?
Right.
Like
And
what?
then
Really?
Shaggy's real name was like Norval or something.
Yeah. In fact, they actually did pronounce his full name.
Yeah, it's Norval Shaggy.
You know,
Norval Shaggy something. I forget what
Is
it
it
is.
Rogers?
that is a little
Something like
odd.
Yeah, it is Rogers.
Yeah.
It is Rogers. But what do you think of the film, man?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It did seem like, a kid's film, but it was not like I couldn't sit there and watch it because they didn't do too much kiddie stuff. One of the things that I just noticed off bat, I guess it's just today's age, is that, the movie starts off with California Love. You knew Tupac and Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to
Yeah.
myself, like, wow.
Yeah.
They have, wow.
That song has become
Yeah.
Wonder Bread, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's just like, that was just
Wow.
But you know what?
Okay.
They always play the
Blake.
hook.
It's Daphne Blake is her name.
Yeah,
I
they
never
always,
knew
but
that.
they always play the hook of California Love.
Yeah.
They never play any of the lyrics.
Oh, of
The
course
rap.
not.
Yeah, of course
I mean,
not.
I'm just saying.
But they also play Bombs Over Baghdad in the movie.
How? What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bombs
Why?
Over Baghdad.
Yeah.
Did they
Yeah,
play the lyrics or
Outkast.
just the?
You heard them say Bombs Over
Oh,
Baghdad.
wow.
I was just
Yeah.
like, wait,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's,
I was pretty much impressed. They're putting some old hip hop in there, which is kind of cool for
Who
these young ass
distributed it?
kids. It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it was one of
Oh,
those.
there you go. They did like, look, open up the
up
music
the vault.
catalog.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Here, just
take what
pick
you
one.
want. Take what
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, just pick one. Just put it
Right.
in there. Yeah. You ain't got to pay no royalties. Yeah, go ahead.
I just thought it was kind of because it was basically in the beginning telling how Scooby met,
Which I really liked.
Shaggy, it's because they're modernizing it, I guess, which is kind of cool. To me, Velma doesn't seem, she of course always been the smart one, but now she's even more smart and just seems way cooler than she's ever been.
Okay.
Freddie seems more like a jock than he was.
Because he was voiced by Zac Efron.
Yeah,
That's
just
why.
straight up jock, and this doesn't seem like they really gave Daphne too much
To do.
outside of that.
Yeah.
That vacuum
The
cleaner
vacuum
thing.
cleaner, yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't seem like they gave her much to
No,
do
they
at
didn't.
all, which kind of sucked.
Did it suck? I mean, because like even Hand of
For her,
Omega's
I
like,
guess.
well, even on the screen, Hand of Omega was like Velma versus Daphne. Who would you choose? I'd pick Velma all day.
Yeah.
Well,
Velma.
now that like Linda Cardellini played her in the movie
Yeah.
back in the day, like
The-
Daphne became
Like
like,
the
they
standards,
made
the standards
Velma
have
much hotter
drastically
than Daphne.
changed.
well,
Yeah.
The standards have drastically changed.
They have
Exactly.
drastically changed.
Exactly.
You are right about that.
That's exactly
You're right about that.
Wolverine. I appreciate that. I have many like them.
Yes.
But this one is mine. John P.
It's just too bad he doesn't have a green one.
How do you know? What if I do
I've
have a
never
green one?
seen it.
I know. I have a lot of things.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I might order a green one.
Ken, he brings up Hand of Omega was like Ken Jeong was Dynamite,
Yeah.
and that was the other cool thing about it, like because it flipped the dynamic. Like remember in the old Blue Falcon show, Dynamite was always the screw up, and
Yeah.
Blue Falcon was like capable. They
Right.
flipped that.
Oh, they
Dynamite was
completely-
actually completely
So wait,
is
capable.
is this a new Dynamite?
Dynamite?
Or is
Yeah.
it the same?
They're trying to say he's the same.
Yeah,
but he was,
they're saying he's the
but he
same.
was never idiotic.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, it's like if Blue Falcon's son is
Yeah.
so Dynamite's the experienced one now.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I guess that's what they're playing with.
I guess.
We didn't talk. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you're not done.
Yeah, it was basically because I mean, basically what this seems like, because I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it though. It seems like this is doing the same thing that a pup named Scooby Doo did with the franchise.
Yes.
It brought some more
Mm-hmm.
interesting stuff to it, modernized it, brought it up to speed, which is I think is what is needed for a show that's a franchise like Scooby Doo, because
Mm-hmm.
again, this franchise is out before any of us were born.
Right.
Like this is old, and it's still
Very old.
and it's continuing on through all this time, and they just keep reinventing it, and that's the best way to keep it fresh. So I'm glad that they're doing it.
and it's funny you say that with the reinvention. It was like I wasn't aware of all the WWE crossovers they had with Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Well,
I've seen those DVDs
those-
in like the dollar
Yeah,
store.
yeah. Those I saw. I only saw one of them. I think I saw it was one that they did a take on wacky races.
Yeah,
with
they have
WWE.
several. I didn't even know they made.
Yeah, they
that
got
many.
a lot. Yeah, WWE like was hyping those all the time on Raw and SmackDown back in the day because it was it was their crossover. So it was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No, it was.
But one of the things, real quick, is
yeah, go ahead.
we mentioned all the voice actors except for one person who did Blue Falcon's voice, and I did not recognize it at all. I looked it up.
What was it?
Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's
wow.
right.
It
No,
did
that's
not
right.
sound
That's
like
right.
him at
No, it
all.
didn't. It really didn't. It didn't sound like he must have like completely got rid of his Bostonian accent.
Yeah.
because like I saw no, I heard
He
no.
can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as much as we give in the Big Pimpin' J, especially used to give Mark Wahlberg crap. The guy is a talented guy. It's like you can't take that away from him. He has talent. It's just he's known as a Boston guy, and it just works. Especially like with The Departed,
Right.
he did a damn good job in The Departed. So
I mean, he was right at home. Shit.
right,
Right. So let me ask you this then, Dido. Obviously you saw the end credits, right?
Was there more to it?
No, I mean just the
I saw the
role.
beginning of the
No, so you saw the beginning of the end credits, but you didn't watch the whole thing.
I don't
So it's
think
basically it was like how they do the post scenes. Well, really in the end credits, they actually showed like kind of the tease of what they were going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
So Blue Falcon has the Falcon Force. On the Falcon Force is Magilla Gorilla and Adamant.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so Magilla Gorilla and
my
Adamant are on the Falcon Force, and then Velma, and throughout the course of the movie, she was actually using a Quest computer, like from
Oh,
Benton,
from like Johnny Quest?
from Benton Quest's company.
so McGilla Gorilla and Adamant, did they speak or they just showed up?
No, it was just literally a cameo
Oh, okay.
in the end roll. Yeah, and even Benton Quest showed up in the end roll because he was showing. I think he was showing Freddy and the rest of Mystery Inc. something. So it was like letting you know that he's there too. So you wonder that if he's there, the Herculoids are probably there. Some of the other more fantastic Space Ghost is probably going to be there.
Space Ghost. I was hoping for.
Yeah, Space Ghost will probably be there.
Here's the
So
problem, though.
So
Go ahead, Fallen. Go ahead.
Wait, hold
Fallen.
on.
yeah,
So essentially, they call this movie Scoob, but it's essentially a setup for a Hanna-Barbera verse,
yes,
basically.
yes, exactly. Yes, that is exactly what happened.
I'm confused. Like I thought this whole thing was supposed to be like the origin of Scooby Doo.
Well, it is, but then they
It
went
wasn't an
past that.
origin though. It was never. It was never an origin. It was more or less they spent
presented
maybe-
it that way.
I know on the trailers they kind of did, but they spent maybe 10 minutes on the origin.
That's
Yeah.
all it takes.
And that was it.
A boy meets a dog. A dog meets a boy. That's all you need. Like it does not need to be a 2-hour movie.
Because essentially
And then
the setup of the film,
right.
the setup of the film was Freddy wanted to take Mystery Inc. legit. Like they wanted to open up a storefront and everything where they actually have full on, a full on business where they actually go big time instead of just happening across small time crooks. So that was the whole premise of the movie, is that they were trying to go legit, and they found an investor, and the investor I won't reveal who it is, but the investor kind of wanted to just dude,
That investor
was-
made no sense.
None,
Like, where did that come from?
none,
Why?
None at all. So the investor basically said, the group is only as strong as its weakest link. And as I'm sitting here talking about the pitch, these two are eating this ridiculous sandwich, talking about Scooby and Shaggy. So he basically said, I'm not going to invest as long as they're in it. So, Shaggy and Scooby, they kind of left. And they happened upon Blue Falcon, and the rest of the movie went away. Went on its way. Dick Dastardly as who was it? It was Jason Isaacs. Not bad.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, not bad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jason Isaacs, who you would know from Star Trek Discovery
Resident Evil.
and Resident Evil. Yeah,
Who is in Resident Evil?
He was the big bad, basically.
In the original Resident Evil?
Yeah, well, in the second one, until he was the he was the guy that was like kind of the Umbrella Corporation head before Wesker showed up. He
I don't
kind of
remember
looked.
the second Resident
He
Evil.
kind of looks like Wesker, and then he's not because he's an older dude. He was also the guy that played Bruce Wayne in what is the name of that? Titans season 2. Yeah, he was Bruce Wayne. in Titans.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's a
no, that was That wasn't Jason Isaacs. That was
Yeah, that's the dude from Game of
yeah,
Thrones.
that's the dude from Game of Thrones
Which
that
one is
played Bruce
Jason
Wayne.
Isaacs in? Who am I
Jason
thinking
Isaacs
of?
was in Star Trek Discovery. He was Captain Lorca.
Oh, something less Star Trek. What else
The
was he in?
best. He was Malfoy's
He was-
dad
he-
in Harry
he-
Potter.
there's
Oh,
one.
There you
It-
go.
there's
See,
one.
that's-
Yeah.
Why do you just say that?
And he played Hook in that terrible Peter Pan movie
No,
that they
no-
had.
nobody watched
a few
that on
years
purpose.
I
ago.
definitely didn't see that.
Yeah.
Patriot.
I
Desert
did not
Stalin,
see it
Hotel
either.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
All right, well, fair
Yeah,
enough.
Peter Pan.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I like what they're doing. I will definitely, like I said, have to give it a watch at some point.
Lucius
But-
Malfoy.
But how do you feel about them trying to do a cinematic universe too?
I mean, look, everybody wants that in-game money. Obviously, you're not going to get it with a Scooby Doo.
Obviously not. I'm like,
universe.
that's why you got to raise my eyebrow. Like, really?
But I mean, and here's the funny thing: is the fact that it's Warner Brothers doing it again
Right.
is hilarious. To
Yeah, I
me,
know.
'cause it's like, look,
It's like
y'all-
we got to do it somewhere.
right,
somewhere.
right.
Get it
Yeah.
done.
So it's like, look, if y'all gonna do it with Scooby Doo, and here's the worst part: if it works with Scooby Doo and Hanna Barbera, I'll be like, look, dog, y'all had Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
And y'all couldn't break them.
and y'all, no, dog, no. So I'm fine with them doing it. It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. But
Right.
oh my goodness, man, this is hilarious. And all I can say is, here's what I'm mad about.
Mhm.
Macho Man Randy Savage is not here to do Space Ghost's dad's
Oh
voice.
man,
'Cause
yes.
That
yes.
they just need to,
yeah.
you know what? Call Jay Lethal. Let Jay Lethal do it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Because
Hey, I like that.
Because Leonard Ghostal was awesome. Like
Yeah.
that. I still watch that episode. It was-
Yes.
for anybody out there, any of your youngins out there,
Mhm.
there was a show called Space Ghost Coast to Coast that was a take off of the original Space Ghost show,
Mhm.
but they turned it into a late night show.
Yeah.
And there was an episode called Pile Driver, in which the infamous Randy Macho Man Savage comes in as Space Ghost.
It was
his
so
granddad,
Yeah.
Which was great.
yeah.
It was so
Leonard-
over the top
Leonard
ridiculous.
Ghostal. So yeah,
Yeah.
let you guys have it though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was, let us know what you think about Scoob and the possibility of a Hanna-Barbera franchise in the comments, and maybe we'll touch on it later in The Power is Yours.
This week in gaming. This week in gaming.
Yeah, hear us.
Okay, now we can.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
So now
I'm
you
not
gotta do that
redoing
whole
that.
thing.
I'm not redoing that.
You missed it. You missed it. He
It
was
was
singing
me.
Daytona.
No. Daytona, let's go away.
Yo, no, Daytona was the shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Almost every game in there that I've played, I can say, is a fantastic game that came out.
How many have you played? I know you played Castlevania.
I played, no, it's not Castlevania, it's Bloodstain.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, Bloodstain. I played Bloodstain.
I know you
I
played,
played Daytona.
obviously.
That was the championship edition that came out. I think it was for the Saturn,
Yeah, I remember
which was
that one.
better than the original one because the original one was rushed. Like a lot of stuff on the Saturn in the beginning because the Sega Saturn was rushed, and maybe one day we'll talk about the Sega Saturn, but not today. Yeah, no, I didn't play Prince of Persia, though I have it. And
Shocker. Absolute shocker.
what's that other one? That gosh, now my memory's fading on me. Old guy. Darn.
We'll come back to you.
No. You know,
Yeah,
there were some
we'll come back.
fabulous games that came out, and I believe if you have not played that Bloodstain, Curse of the Moon, I got mine for free because I had kickstarted the big game, and it came out on the Switch. It's on PlayStation 4 as well. If you like Castlevania, you would definitely like that game. That game was really good.
I think I've got it, and I got it on the Origin Pass, so I'll probably give it a shot one day. You know, but Daytona was a game that you had to play it in arcades. Like I didn't play it anywhere else but on the arcades, just because that's the way it was. Like you have to play it in arcades.
I played it in an arcade. I remember I got a small little story about the arcade. Kings Island in the 90s sometime. Don't know exactly what year. They had a freaking 8-way Daytona there that you had to, pay. But if you came in first place, they gave you a prize.
Do you remember the ones that had like some kind of MC or something like in front of it? You was always talking like trying to. GameWorks had it all the time.
Yeah, GameWorks.
Yeah, GameWorks had it all the
GameWorks
time.
had a.
Dude, I think they had more than 8-way on that.
Well, no, GameWorks had two different ones.
Because they did the
Because
deluxe one.
Yeah. Well, no, they had two different setups because they used to run them. They didn't have a 16 because they could have done 16, but they didn't.
Yeah.
I think it was just a sense of a way to just keep things moving because it's like, okay, you ain't waiting for 16 people.
Right.
But they ran it where it was just like they had an announcer basically.
Yeah.
And it was a hype guy basically calling the race basically. And they did a lot of stuff at GameWorks, and it sucks that they just
don't
It's
exist anymore.
arcades, man.
Right.
Actually, no, that's not true. They do still exist. It's in
Vegas?
actually in Cincinnati. There's one.
Wow.
And it's still active. It's nothing like they barely have any games in it. It's all the ones that give you the tickets and stuff
it's
like that.
hanging on like blocks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's not even worth it anymore. But anyway, the other games in the list, especially one that I played, that I think the big one that led the week was The Witcher 3. It's 5 years old.
Yeah, I haven't played that, and I don't have it.
I do have it. I haven't played it. But here's the thing.
I have it and have played it.
Well,
so
no, see,
there's that.
I bought The Witcher on Black Friday because it was like I think they were selling it for like 15 or
Yeah.
less. And this was probably 4 years ago now, maybe even 3 years. Megashawn always talked about this game a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He still does to this day. Talks about like one
And
of the
obviously
greatest games
it
ever.
has a Netflix show and
Yeah.
Cavill.
Now, the watching the Netflix show, I had always intended on playing the game, but watching the show made me want to play it right away.
Okay.
So I
it did its
did.
job.
Yeah, so it did its job. So when I played it, it is immersive and it is long. Let me tell you, there's a lot of shit to do in there.
Yeah.
Lot.
I think that's my problem. I got
Yeah.
too many games with a lot of stuff to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think for real, it's like as much as I played the game, I still feel like I'm only maybe a third way in it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, with games like that, I like an open sandbox. There's nothing wrong with, but I think my problem is I have a bunch of sandbox games available to me now. It's just like,
Right.
I'm playing this beach
I
over
just
here.
got
and then
Grand
move
Theft
to
Auto
this
5
one.
for free. So.
Has anybody played Capcom's attempt to do The Witcher, which is Dragon's Dogma?
No, I
Oh,
have
Fallen
it.
Marvel?
I do have that.
Has anybody-
I have it on Steam. I played a little bit of it. Seems
what do
pretty
you think
decent.
of that game? Is it?
I mean, it kind of fits in the line of games like that, like Dragon Age and that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's obviously their attempt at it. I don't know if it's just them trying to deviate from Monster Hunter in a different way and try to go more medieval with it, I guess. I don't know. So, but it seemed like a pretty solid game. It's not a bad game by any means from what I've played. So, You know, it just follows in that same line. If you like Dragon Age and that kind of stuff, whatever, you probably like it. So, other
I
than
wanted to
that,
sit down and
yeah.
play it because I think I got it for free on PlayStation 3. But again, you know, my whole entire dilemma is like, am I going to start this game? Because the way my brain works and the reason why I don't play as much as I want to is because when I start a game, I have to finish. I have a hard time jumping around from game to game. And that's why, like, you guys see me playing The Binding of Isaac a whole bunch is because it's not something I have to really be deeply engrossed in.
How many times did you beat that game?
I haven't gotten everything, though.
How much is there to get?
There's like over 450 items. There's characters you got to open up.
So you're doing a completionist run.
Not necessarily.
do that.
No,
I can't do that anymore.
No. I'm not doing a completion. I'm just playing the freaking game
Right.
and opening stuff up. Because if you beat it with different characters, you open different things up. There's a greed mode that's in it. I haven't even played greed mode, but it's just, I don't. It's like when you play fighting games. If you casually play fighting games, you don't have to sink a lot of time into them.
Right.
Like for example, like if I'm gonna start, for example, Yakuza 4. Like I love the Yakuza series, but like you say in a lot of those games, there's a lot to do in those games. So it's like the way my brain works is like, okay, do I play through this game and just beat it so I can move on to the next one? Do I do some of the side stories because some of the side stories are good and fun and all this other stuff? And I think that's a lot of my dilemma. So I want to play. I even sometimes I'll pop in the game just to see how it is or something like that. And I always thought Dragon's Dogma was supposed to be like not Bloodborne, but the other one that they came out before Bloodborne. What's it called? Come on, Kyle. You know what I'm talking about.
It escapes me too.
Why-
Escapes me too.
Why can't I think of the goddamn game?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
okay.
it was like Dark Souls.
Oh goodness.
So that's why I didn't
Well,
really jump into it because like I was kind of intimidated by Dark Souls until I played Bloodborne, and now I'm like, oh, I want to play these games because Bloodborne was that deal.
King to King, Witcher 3
Well,
is Horizon Zero Dawn in PS4. God of War had a baby. Everyone
Oh,
should
really?
play it.
So
Well,
I do want to play it.
Yeah, everyone
Well,
should
Marcus
wanna play it.
Superior Prior in there talking about he's not finished with the game, and he feels the same way I do. There's so much to do. He switches back and forth.
No, it's
depending on
true.
how he feels,
No, it's
so.
truth. It is true.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of these other ones, right? So like
Prince of
Wolfenstein, well, Prince of Persia, yeah, we can talk
There's
about
only
that.
one Wolfenstein.
No, for real.
Right.
Yeah, right. So for me, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands, I never played it because my interest in it in the game had waned. Because even I think the second, or was it the third? Was this the one after The Warrior Within?
Hold on, I'm gonna tell
Because I
you.
could have swore the first one was The Forgotten Sands, the second one was The Warrior Within, which was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
And then the third was The Forgotten Sands.
No.
No?
You had Sands of Time.
Right. Which is the
I
greatest.
forgot what the second one was called. Warrior Within was the third one of that Prince of Persia trilogy.
Uh,
Then
then they made
they
the fourth
rebooted
no. Wait. No. The second one was Warrior Within. The third
That's
one
what I
was
thought.
Two Princes.
That's
Yeah,
what
it
that's
was
what
two-
it was.
it
The
was
two
two
princes.
princes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
so
see,
that's
By the time
They
the two
had
princes
one for
came
the
out,
Wii. They had one for the Wii, but I don't think anyone really counts that.
right?
One.
but then
So-
they rebooted it with the
With the
Prince
Forgotten
of
Sands.
no. Prince of Persia.
Oh, I did play that one.
Yeah.
I'm
The
disappointed
one where
that I
you don't.
played it.
The one that you don't die.
Yes.
and then
yes.
they made the Forgotten Sands.
Yeah. Now see, like I
Yeah.
said, the Forgotten Sands. By that time, I was done with that version of Prince of Persia. They had lost me with even the two princes. Like the Warrior Within was such a letdown from the first game because the first game
Then I
was
didn't get
so
the third one.
freaking good. The Sands of Time was so good, but the second one was kind of a letdown. The third one, I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm done with it. You know, I'm just over it. So
Yeah, so
anybody
Forgotten
else got anything?
Sands was actually pretty solid though.
Was it?
Like I actually played it all the way through. It actually has some good mechanics in it.
Yeah. Okay. I
Like,
mean, I can see that.
It's like compared to what they did before. Like this game was them returning to form, but it's kind of like you said. I think a
Oh, no,
lot of
Forgotten
people
Sands
checked out
was
of
the
Prince of
fourth
Persia
one.
by then.
Yeah. That's what he said.
So
You're right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
what I
you
said.
said. I think people kind of checked out of the series by then.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Plus
they
the movie
have.
didn't help.
No, it did not.
I didn't think that movie was that
I
bad.
didn't think it
And
was
I know
either,
people
but I
complain
mean,
because they didn't get Middle
And,
Eastern actors.
I mean, that is kind of a big deal.
But like Jake Gyllenhaal kind of did look like the character that they made for him.
Yeah. Well, no,
I
he
guess,
worked. He
yeah.
worked for because you got to remember the original Prince of Persia game. It did look like I think the guy had
original
white
guy.
hair,
Yeah, he did.
so it was like could have been a white guy
Right.
running around. I don't know. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal obviously did a great job as Mysterio.
Sure did.
So I mean,
Sure
you know,
did.
Yeah, I just
I
didn't
don't think it was a
that
knock
bad.
on him. I don't think it was really him. I think it was just people
It
were.
was just it just wasn't it.
Wasn't
It
that
could have
the
been
beginning
better.
of that whole what they call social justice warrior movement where everybody had to be completely accurate to everything. I think that's where that comes
there's no such thing as acting anymore. You have to be the religion. You have to be the skin color.
Right.
You have to be from the country where the character is from. That's not how acting works.
Exactly.
Right, let's close it out with Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Wolfenstein the New Order. Now, I've never gotten to play this, and wasn't this the first of the new Wolfenstein games?
New Order was the first one because Old Blood, I think, was the one that came after.
Okay. So what's the deal with the New Order?
I mean, just again, here's the thing.
Was it a remake? Were they trying to make it like a remake of the original?
Sort of like new Reich thingy, basically. I don't know. I mean, it's as you saw in the footage. It's like it's just a really Call of Duty hype Wolfenstein. That's all it really is. It's Wolfenstein brought to the current generation.
Okay.
Because it was the granddaddy of them all.
It sure was. Started all them first person shooters. Well, I shouldn't say it wasn't. It wasn't the first.
It
started the wave.
It started that style.
Yeah, it started that style. Absolutely. Marcus Superior Prior, never touched a Wolfenstein game. Wasn't my cup of tea. I'm super shocked by that.
Wolfenstein on the Jaguar was that deal.
Yeah.
That
In fact, you thought. You said the one that I showed last week you thought was the Jaguar version. Yeah, and it wasn't. Yep. John P. Wolfenstein and Prince of Persia are two series with some naming issues.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, most definitely are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is.
Fallen, you got any favorite games that you played in this list that we didn't talk about already?
On this list, I think the most joy I got is out of the list is probably Prince of Persia.
Really?
The more playing it,
huh?
Like it was like Forgotten Sands was a pretty fun game, and it like after playing the abysmal one, I mean this one kind of like cleaned the palette a little bit and kind of returned the form to how the original series was and stuff. So, if you guys do come across it again, I suggest playing it. So it's not a bad game by any stretch.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Sure. All right. Well, I think we're done with this week in gaming. We're gonna move on to some other stuff. But obviously, if you guys want to keep talking about games, we'll bring it back in the Power is Yours segment later in the show. All right, so this week's poll was all about the best martial arts fighting scenes ever, according to us, at least the top 10 that we have.
According to the culture junkies in the nation. Not just us. You guys out there chose.
Okay.
You guys out there chose.
We gave them the selections, so I guess you could technically say it was what we feel.
No, they chose it. The power is in your hands. Almost.
Just gonna undercut me at every turn.
No, I'm just giving credit to our people out there.
I didn't say that we chose it. Never mind.
We made a list.
I digress. We made a list. They chose it. They picked it. So here's the results of the top 5. Some may be surprising, and I'm sure there's more than a few that are upset by what was left off the list. We'll talk about all of it. So let's go. What's number 5?
Number 5 is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Yu Shu Lin versus Jin Yu. Yes, that one I think was really
That was a fantastic
memorable.
Scene, man.
Yeah, especially you didn't
Both
think
of their fights were good.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen that movie in quite some time, but I still remember
it's been a while.
that. Yeah, I still remember that scene.
Cinematography still stands up to this day.
That's
Shit is incredible.
That's Ang Lee's masterpiece
Yes.
right there. Like that.
No, it's the Hulk. No, I'm just joking.
How dare you?
Unfortunately, the popularity of Crouching Tiger got him the job to do the Hulk.
Yeah.
and that didn't work out so well.
That didn't work out too well. What do you remember the most about that scene?
I remember actually because I'm not sure if y'all went with me or not. I do remember going to the Star Theater when that was still around.
When they were showing it subtitled?
Yeah, when they were showing it subtitled. I remember the original fight getting an actual ovation from the crowd. Their first fight outside the palace, I guess, or whatever it was. And then their weapons fight got another ovation. It was just like people were, because again, it's like it's like you had obvious fans there, you know, just of the genre to begin with that were watching it, and then you had people that had never seen something like that.
Right.
It was just like,
And I think that's what was wowing them is they
Yeah.
had never seen women move like that.
Not even just that, just because again, you've seen stuff like that in older martial arts
Yeah, if
films.
you watch the old martial
Right,
arts film, you see
but
Right.
to see it done that well, obvious wire work, but like it was, you know, it's almost just looked like it was mystical, and they had the ability to fly, all that, like everything just worked.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ang Lee did his thing in that one, man.
Yeah.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I agree. Like that was probably like among like fights that were done in that fashion, that's probably still like today's standards, probably like among the best ever filmed and orchestrated and all that. So, and I mean, plus what I find interesting too is with Zhang Ziyi, like I think that was like her first role like that, because I think like
That was her
before that
first
she
role,
was
period.
like, I think like before then, like she didn't have any martial arts experience. She was a dancer.
Yeah.
So like, and it's just like for her to be, it was like, damn, like it looked like she'd been practicing martial arts for years. So, so yeah, they did an exceptional job with her and like in that landscape, like somebody that doesn't come from a martial arts background at all.
Right.
So
what was number 4?
Number 4 is Who Am I? Jackie versus the Rooftop Goons.
No, I'm not gonna lie. This was one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites without a question, because this shit was amazing, dude.
That's top 5 favorite Jackie Chan fights.
Yes, man.
That's
it was
top
just
5.
so great. I was like, if you haven't watched it, it was the perfect mix of what makes Jackie so great. It was high quality action. It was also very comedic, especially when the two of him and the kickboxer dude kept kicking each other in the shins. And they kept going, and then they took a break to kind of rub their shins and then go back to it.
Right.
You know, it was just a classic scene. Everything about it. What do you remember? Most about it?
You talking about that was Taekwondo buddy you was talking about, the white guy. I think it was in that one. Yeah. That was Taekwondo he was doing.
You do know that Taekwondo is still also a form of kickboxing.
I mean, I suppose, but you know, I know. The thing is, I know in some circles they're sensitive about it being called.
They'll
kickboxing.
be
I
all
can
right.
understand that. I
They're
mean,
all right.
it wasn't Muay Thai. I wasn't trying to say it was Muay Thai. He wasn't really doing Muay Thai. But what do you remember the most
What
about
I remember
that
about that is the fact that the guy that was in that scene was getting on Jackie's nerves when they were filming, because
Really?
he was
I saw that.
scene? Really?
Yeah, because
Watch
it
the
was
making of that movie.
Oh, I'll have to watch that.
It was a Jackie Chan documentary that they showed on Stars back in the day when they were talking about that. And that was it was the guy who was actually doing the parts that the actual actor had problems with. It was the same guy he had the
From
fight scene with in
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yep.
Because he's on his
He did
because
look the same. Okay.
he's on his stunt team. So it's like this is getting
Okay.
so like the guy knew exactly what he needed to do.
So
So
this,
it was like, okay,
this was the shorter kid, the one that he ripped the earring out of?
Yep.
No. The
No.
guy. Remember Gorgeous? Remember the young white guy that he fought in Gorgeous?
Yeah.
That guy
Okay,
was
that guy.
the double
Yeah.
for the tall guy from
he
Who
was
Am
the
I?
double. Okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
because the guy in Who Am I he was like, you know, he was good, but you know Jackie is fast.
Yeah.
And everything.
Right.
Because there's even moments in there like, okay, remember the part when he's ducking in between the pipes and all that?
Mm-hmm.
They're swinging a mannequin leg at him because the guy just wasn't able to keep up. So that's how they were getting around it.
Yeah.
And then Kim, you're 100% right. It was Savat.
It was
But
okay.
So they had to bring that guy in from Gorgeous to basically like fill in, because it's like, dude, you're not. It's like you're good, but you're not at what we need. You're not fast enough for what we need.
He wasn't keeping up.
Yeah,
He wasn't keeping up at all.
And again, it's like, look, if anybody's gonna tell you that you're slow, I mean, I'd rather it be Jackie Chan. So
Right. Yeah.
But again, let's move on to number 3 though.
Yeah, what's number 3?
Number 3 is Old Boy, the original one, the hallway fight.
All right.
Now,
Really?
that one, okay, so I wouldn't say it's a traditional martial arts scene at all, but it is still a great shot scene cinematographically. Is that cinematographically? Cinematographically. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It was a great scene the way they choreographed it, because it was all one shot, and it was like, was it like 5-10 minute long
It was
scene?
long. It was a very long one take.
And it was done real well.
Weren't they the innovators of the whole one take, hallway fight scene?
I don't think they were the, because one takes have happened before that film, but that is the one that everybody looks back at because it's recent. You know, well, it's not super recent, but obviously because Spike Lee tried to redo it and it didn't work. I love Josh
In
Brolin.
what?
But
Oh boy.
In the remake.
right,
Okay,
in the remake.
yeah.
But it's
Okay,
like
I totally forgot they remade the
right.
movie.
They did the one take with Josh Brolin, but they lost what made the one take mean what it meant in the original. Because in the original, it showed the progression of you're kicking butt, but you're getting hurt and you're getting tired. And it's like they just showed how he was just breaking down through that fight. And the remake, you don't see it as much because they were so interested in like, let's get the one take. It's like, no.
Right.
The fact that he was fighting, what was it, 20 guys or whatever it was?
And they just kept coming.
And it just, like you said, they kept coming. That was what made that one take so amazing because you're like, dude, are they ever going to cut?
Right.
And they just don't cut. So it's just like, that's why it was cool.
And the only other thing that ever even came close to rivaling that was Daredevil in season 1.
Yeah, they did do that in Daredevil.
Yeah. Daredevil season 1 was amazing.
Pretty sure it was a homage. You can think.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This shit was
definitely.
amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
one take fight scenes are insane because some of the stuff that they've done for one takes. I'm trying to remember one that I saw. It was behind the scenes of recently.
Well, I know the one that stands out to me as far as a one take was from the Protector, aka Tom Young Goon. Like that was a really good one.
John P brought that one up from the.
Well, he said Ong Bak was the one that had the great one.
That was Tom Young Goon. Ong Bak was different.
Yeah,
you can confuse the two. It's not that hard to confuse.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You're right about that. No, it's not. So what was number 2?
Oh yeah, sorry. Number 2.
Look at this guy. he over here watching the Jackie Chan documentary. Look at this guy.
Not the documentary, the fight.
Yeah, come on, man.
Legend of the Drunken Master.
Oh, another Jackie.
That was
Jackie versus Ken Lo.
Dude, that was in the lead for the longest time.
Yeah,
that's number 2. Okay.
That hit number 2.
All right.
That was the final fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof,
that was
amazing.
the one that let everybody know that Shundi's from Virtual Fighter
was the truth.
Was like real care. It was real. It
was the truth. Yes.
And the thing is, I loved. They said that fight took, I think, 3 months to shoot. It just the choreography again. It's Jackie Chan and what was the other guy's name?
Ken Lo.
Ken Lo. I forgot the actor that played him. I used to follow because again, they're obviously both. He's on Jackie's team.
Yeah.
But they were just going for broke. And some of the stunts they did in that are insane. Like the reverse flip off the wall stuff. It is just like, when you flipped them to the wall, basically. I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I love the fact that they made fun of the trope of like, everybody going through their poses and stance, and Jackie just runs up on him like that was like so freaking perfect. So I mean, I love how they did that. But
yeah.
Oh dang, Marcus Pryor said the disrespect.
He's right though. He's right though. It's like not too many people, it seemed like, were even familiar with that scene.
And that's fine. Meals on Wheels.
The Meals on Wheels one, dude, the shit was amazing.
But it's
Jackie versus Benny the Jet.
Yeah. I think what it is you run into a situation where yes, there's Netflix and all that other sort of stuff. But for us, we saw this stuff because it was either we had older siblings or parents that were interested in it, so they was bringing home videotapes every now and again of this stuff, or B, on Saturday morning or afternoon-ish, you had Kung Fu Theater. So we got to see a lot of this stuff just straight up on TV.
Yep.
I used to just rent all this stuff.
I
mean, again, like
the bad
the rentals
on,
and everything.
on Channel 20, yes.
But like with the Netflix, now granted, there is a I think they just came out with a channel or a service not too long ago because I saw the advertisement for it on Ip Man. There is, I think, going to be a Kung Fu movie service that they're going to have.
Very nice.
But I think that's why you're running into people that aren't familiar with some of the older classics. For us, classics, because Netflix might have it, might not. And you got to remember, a lot of these movies, getting them on Blu-ray is not easy because they're not released over here in this region that often. They're available, but if you want to pay $60, $70, sure, have fun. So it's one of those things.
Not doing that.
Right. All right, so what was number 1, man?
Number 1 is it's very much surprising, specifically what we got on this list, but it's The Raid 2, the kitchen fight scene.
Now, see, this really, I guess it shouldn't be a surprise because even when I watched it, I was like, "Whoa, man, this is brutal, dude. This is really getting after it." Like it was really good. Number one, I guess, is it deserving of number one? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You
Go
know,
ahead,
but
Foley.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean I'm assuming we're talking about the kitchen fight.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So all I have to say is that they were really just going balls to the wall with
They
this
were.
movie. And then the fact that this was like just coming out of Indonesia, which like nobody was really looking at, and it was just like the first movie came out, then they did the second one, and I actually saw the second movie, and it came out in theaters, and I was in awe of watching it, and I honestly never looked at hammers the same way again after watching this movie. But I digress. Other than that, it was definitely one of the more visceral, like realistic martial arts films that we've gotten in a really long time, because it's been a while since we had something that was this like just straight up like no room to breathe type of like fighting, because it's like you watch stuff or whatever, it's like, especially like if you like, granted, we know it's multiple takes, but it's like, you watch something like John Wick and stuff like that, and just all the stuff he's constantly do is like, dude, like you look at him as like, dude, when do you get tired? Like, I'm tired looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, I think a few people that worked on that movie was in the latest John Wick film, if I recall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
So it's like they making a name for themselves out here.
Yeah.
And it's like it's showing, it's paying off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coming out of the chat real quick, Hand of Omega, they were wasting in Force Awakens. They were the Knights of Ren. They were in that one sequence that you see in the hallway, but they were also the people that were in the costumes for the Knights of Ren, the raid crew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that
What a
right?
waste.
Wow.
Yep.
What a waste.
Johnny Handsome. I have seen that Marcus. I'm sorry. Yeah. Superior Prior. I have seen that. Yeah. Johnny Handsome is insane.
Is it?
If y'all haven't, dude, just
I haven't seen it yet.
After the show, y'all you're gonna look at. We're gonna watch that sequence on YouTube.
Okay.
Because
That's right.
Johnny,
That's that
'cause
crazy. That's that crazy.
Yeah,
Indian
that's
movie,
one of the Bollywood ones, dude.
Really?
It's
a Bollywood film?
It's insane.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
It
make
is
some insane movies.
Okay.
Just on the clips alone, I'm like, bro, like I don't even know what to do with this right
Is
now.
there any reason Hand of Omega doesn't know how to watch movies? Oh, that's right. You said because he jumps around.
He's a
Yeah,
freaking.
he's got movie ADHD.
Yeah.
Because he's
Movie
saying the Knights
ADHD
of, he's
big
saying the
time.
Knights of Ren weren't even in Force Awakens. I guess he doesn't remember that
What?
flashback
he talking about?
Flashback sequence in the
He
rain. I guess
hated
he
that
didn't see it.
movie.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Franchise.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's all right. He'll be
Yeah,
all right.
that's all right. So anyway, a lot of what we talked about is going to lead into the very next topic, especially since we're talking about the classics and movies, martial arts movies moving now. So let's hit to the main event.
Mm-hmm.
The main event. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start this main event off with martial arts films that we in the studio that we loved. I'm just going to go ahead and start it off with Enter the Dragon for me.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't see how many votes Bruce Lee got, but
He didn't get nearly enough.
Not enough.
Well,
Not nearly enough.
Now you got to remember it's a younger crowd. For us,
I'm not going to give no excuses for that.
No. For us, Bruce Lee was and is the truth. It's a generational thing, and that's why I actually wanted to bring this topic up because I look at it as okay, especially after watching Ip Man and Ip Man 4. It's the situation of the movies that we grew up with.
Sure.
It was always the paper thin plot.
Yeah.
And it was like, when's the next fight scene?
Right.
You literally was just sitting there, when's
Just
the next
skip
fight
through all the
scene?
talking and
Right.
just give me
When's
the
next
fight
fight scene? That's all you was doing. And if you look back at a lot of those movies, Bruce Lee, and again, take nothing away from him, he beat up on a lot of cannon fodder characters.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And it was like, and I think that's what's changed. Because back then, it was like, okay, it was more or less you had a particular art form that they were trying to push. Or they were trying to focus on, like Five Venoms. It's like, okay, Snake and Monkey, it's like, okay, if you're gonna, we're gonna highlight this, and that's what the movie is gonna be about, or it's gonna be Crane versus Snake. It was always something like that. It was one style versus another style, which one is superior type of thing. And I think what you get now in the MMA era is you're seeing the style mixing. You're seeing this guy knows boxing, but he can also grapple. It's like you're seeing all of those
Right.
mixtures, and you're not only just getting that, you're either A, getting actual fighters from the ring to come in and play parts in films.
Very true.
Or
Very
you're
true.
B, you're getting like the highest level of both sides, like you're getting your Jet Li's and you're getting like Jackie Chan's working together. Or you know what I'm saying? It's like you never had that back in Bruce Lee's era. It was Bruce Lee. Period. You had a lot of other stunt guys that
Bruce
were
Lee.
great. Right, you had all the pretenders.
All the clones
All the
afterwards.
pretenders. I don't know why he keeps sticking on that. Look it up. Dig deep. They were in the Knights of Ren costumes.
They were in the Knights of Ren.
mishandled and misused, period.
Yeah.
But they were in the Knights because it
Man,
was
don't pay no
literally...
attention to him. He's throwing us off.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Anyway, so going back to that, it's like, again, for those that don't know, the quick trivia, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan had 2 scenes together. The first scene that they had together was in... What was the one where he...
Fists of Fury.
Chinese Connection. I think it was Chinese Connection because he was the one that took that when he kicked the guy through the window basically, and he was being yanked back like 50 feet. That was Jackie that took that fall.
I know
And
that
then-
he was. I know he was in like the courtyard fight scene in Fists of Fury though, because I remember they were talking about
Fist
he
of
was.
Fury. It's been a very long time since I watched that one.
Yeah.
But the one that he's
Right.
most known for is getting his neck broke by Bruce Lee in
In
the
Enter
Underground
the Dragon.
Cavern fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But outside of that, they obviously never, because again, Jackie wasn't big like Bruce was yet, so they never had a Bruce Lee versus Jackie Chan match, which
Which is,
nowadays
it would've
that's
been-
something
right.
you'd have.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the movies we used to grow up on was either a style versus a style, or one guy just wrecking through a bunch of cannon fodder and then finally fighting a big bad.
Right.
Now
Right.
you get a little bit. You have your cannon fodder guys. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Sure.
Protector, On Bak, those films have them.
Yep.
But the highlight fight was usually against an actual skilled fighter of something from some discipline.
Yeah.
Another example would probably be like again Ip Man, which I reviewed. You guys can check out the review. For me it was Tuesday. You have Donnie Yen, who again, for me is freaking amazing. He's always been great, always underutilized over here in a lot of
Especially in
a lot
Blade
of
2.
stuff.
That was
Oh my God.
criminal.
He was underutilized
That
in Blade
was
2. He
criminal.
was
Highlander.
he was criminally underutilized in Highlander. It's like you
Yeah.
have Donnie Yen in the room,
Yeah.
and he didn't even do anything.
Right.
Like why? But so it's like you had Donnie Yen versus Scott Adkins. You guys already know
Yeah.
Scott Adkins is my dude.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I
seeing
can't
them,
wait to see that.
Right, that's what I'm
honestly.
saying.
I
So
can't
seeing
wait to
them
see
go
that
at it
one.
because it's like both of these guys can go.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, that's and I think going back to the raid. The raid is another one that brings that up. It's just like you have this guy. I forgot his name because again, a lot of their names escape
Eco
me.
Oasis.
Yeah, you have him, and then you had, like you said, the guy from the kitchen fight,
Mm-hmm.
who we saw kick all sorts of ass in John Wick 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, these guys can go. So okay, cool. Give them the floor, wide
Right.
shots. You know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff that and I think that's what's really changed. It's like you're getting true martial artists going at it versus. The standard. Okay, it's just a bunch of guys.
Well, what would you say to the other thing that's kind of changed? I guess is availability and probably notoriety of a lot of these films.
definitely.
Because I think there's so many hidden gems that I think a lot of people, unless you're really tuned into the genre, you hear nothing about. You don't know anything
Right.
about.
Oh,
It's become like such a very niche product because I don't think because of course back in this heyday, Warner Brothers was distributing a lot of films because they needed to fill their cinemas.
Yeah,
yeah. So Warner Brothers was coming out with a lot of films, and the Shaw Brothers and even Golden Harvest, they were happy to get all of their stuff over to the West. But now it's like because they have their own distribution systems, and with the internet they can reach a lot more audiences worldwide.
Right.
What would you say to needing to actually kind of, I guess, be more in tune to the genre in order to still pay attention? Because we don't see a lot of Hollywood martial arts flicks come out like they used to.
I think what it is and things always, especially in entertainment, things always happen in cycles.
Right.
You have, like, for example, the 80s. The 80s was the action hero.
Yep.
The Arnie and the Sly and one-man armies and that sort of thing. You had, we went through that. Then you got into the 90s. Okay, the more action thriller, but special effects is starting to be, come into their own. So now you got Terminator,
like
which just
Terminator
worked.
or
Terminator
Face
2.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah, Face Off.
Yeah.
So it's like you started to get into that. But I think martial arts was always there, but it was always like you said, it was kind of a subgenre because it was like, and that's, I think, is part of the reason Michael Jai White never got the notoriety that he should have got, because that guy is extremely talented. Not just as a martial artist, he's a good actor too.
He is.
I think Spawn derailed that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, I could be, way off because again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paula.
I can see it because you think about it, right? So the first anything he was ever in was that Tyson biopic that HBO did,
Right?
Which was very good.
Yeah.
It was very,
Very good
good.
movie.
That was
very
acting.
good.
That was acting chops, and obviously he had the look.
Yeah,
but that
he
was
did.
acting chops.
And then you follow that with Spawn, and it's just kind of a turd of a movie. So it's kind of like the shine went off of him a little bit.
Right.
I didn't hear about him for a long time after that. Unless actually no, Universal Soldier: The Return. That was the next.
Well,
time
he was
I
in the
saw him.
first Universal Soldier.
Was
as
he?
well.
Yeah, he was. He was
Very,
ironically.
it was like a bit play, a bit part, basically.
Really?
He was,
Okay.
He was one of the soldiers that I think Dolph was trying to revive. And remember, he had a whole bunch of soldiers taken. He took to the grocery store. Basically, was trying to like get him into.
Yeah.
I think he was one of them, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yep,
No.
BBO
He was. Was
he in Vietnam with them?
He was in Vietnam with them. He wasn't one
that's
of the
what it was.
soldiers. Now, Tiny Zeus Lister was one of the other
Thank
soldiers.
you. That's right. Both of them were both in that film. DBO King's 100% right. Michael Jai White had his fighting scene cut from Kill Bill,
That's a
which
shame.
sucked because that fight was actually really cool.
Yeah.
I think the problem was if you look at it compared to, obviously the fights in that movie had some cartoony moments,
Right.
but that one had some really cartoony moments. It was just like
That was
it could have, if they would have toned down a little bit of cartooniness, they should have left it in there. Because I think the character he was playing, Daimo, was actually a real character, like an actual person, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look that up to be 100% sure. Oh, hold on. That was the other thing I was supposed to give a shout out to. What is the month, Dido?
Asian American or Asian Pacific.
Asian American and Pacific Islander Appreciation Month.
Thank you.
History.
History.
All right,
wow.
so we got Asian American and Pacific Islander History Month. That's what month we're in right now, ladies and
if you
gentlemen.
didn't know that, our
nice.
wonderful operator behind the scenes is an Asian American, so and we appreciate her very much.
Awesome.
Go ahead and finish your thought. What were you gonna say?
I mean, so I think what you run into, because again, you could have had Michael Jai White versus Ernie Reyes Jr. in Turtles too.
Dude, I would have loved that.
Oh,
And here's
dude.
the crazy part.
Michael Jai White did have a
Dude,
scene.
I
He was
love
in
that.
there.
He
And
did.
they said that as far as I remember, and again, I don't remember if I've heard this through because he hasn't mentioned it lately. But I think they did. Now I'm sure the two of them sparred because again, they're both martial artists. So
Right.
why not? You're on a set,
Right,
You have
dude.
to do something.
Right.
It's like, man,
But they
it's
could
Ernie
have-
Reyes Jr. Are you
Right,
kidding
that's
me?
what I'm saying. So they could have done something with that.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could have been done, but I think what the problem was until Wesley did Blade, martial arts in that respect, either you had your martial arts film, and that's exactly what it was. You had very little film, very few films doing there's a martial arts aspect to this character, but that's not all that he is.
Right.
It's like, okay, like with Blade, he's
I'm trying to remember. Was Passenger 57 after Blade or before Blade?
Oh, way before
way
Blade.
before
It was
Blade.
way before Blade.
Blade
But
came
it
out
wasn't.
in
It
98,
didn't
I
have
think.
as much martial arts in it, really.
Well, the thing is,
No, it was an action film, but it wasn't like a straight up martial arts.
yeah,
film.
exactly.
Right.
'Cause, like,
Honestly,
it wasn't him going martial arts against
Right.
martial arts. It was just this guy knows martial arts. He's on a plane. He's taking down terrorists. It was again. It
Right.
fell into that one man army thing.
Right.
So I think what you ran into, especially with martial arts films, is if either you were just a straight up martial arts movie, or you were an action movie and a guy just happened to know martial arts, but he's probably not going to fight a martial artist at the end, or he might, and
Right.
it'll be some
Right.
guy.
And,
Even, like,
and
even going
honestly,
back, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. No, I was like, and honestly, in that respect, I honestly really feel like the only time when it was really showcased with him in the actual lead character was in Demolition Man, and he was an antagonist.
Dude, Simon Phoenix is legendary.
So
Right. Yeah, and then Simon Phoenix is like they mentioned that it's like martial arts is part of his
Yeah.
upgrade training and all that, but it's like they didn't outside of that,
Right.
they didn't really make a big deal out of it.
Right.
Because I mean, even if you look at like Enter the Dragon, Bob Wall, who was O'Hara, And of course, Bolo Young, who didn't fight Bruce directly, but Bolo Young, of course, was in the movie. And Bruce, of course, John Saxon, who was actually a martial artist, and Jim Kelly, who was actually a martial artist. Lee, Roper, and Saxon didn't fight because they were all good guys. The three of them were the good guys.
Right.
On the bad guys' side, you had Bolo, and then that was it. Everybody else that, some of the other fighters were, again, the cannon fodder.
Yeah.
But the actual Han wasn't a martial artist.
No, he wasn't.
Like, he didn't, like, Bruce was showing him every single thing. That's why that fight was just so one-sided.
It was weird.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what you ran into back then. And you now with martial arts films like The Raid and all this stuff, they are just showcasing everything because there's such a hunger for it now versus when we were going through the 80s and 90s with the one-man armies and the special effects, films and all that other sort of thing.
So do you think, okay, I am of the mind that it's going to take, I would love for an Asian American to lead another revolution over here in America, but I just don't see it happening.
Hey, dude,
like,
did you forget? I think you forget. I mean, technically, it's not a martial arts movie, but it is going to be heavily martial arts based, and it's supposed to be coming out next year. And the name of the movie is called Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah.
The guy is not American, but he's North
that's
American, and North American.
You're right. I forgot about that. If there is one thing that could probably kick it off, it'd probably be a Marvel movie done in a martial arts style. That probably could start something. But I'm thinking, okay, what else would it take? Who would else? They're gonna have to find someone to kind of lead that next wave, and maybe the guy that's doing Shang-Chi will be
But the
it.
thing is, I don't think you necessarily have to. It's one of those situations where I think what we ran into, because like, okay, let's take Bloodsport for example. The reason Bloodsport got made was because of a guy named Frank Dukes, who basically is a fake martial artist. And he might know some martial arts
about it,
but
the whole story, right?
Everything that you saw in that film, as far as the portrayal, was fake.
The world records, fake.
The world record. Well, first of all, and again, I think Joe Rogan broke this down one time, and a few people broke this down. To win as many knockouts as he claimed that he won means that you fought 200 some odd times. It's like, and who's gonna? I don't care what you're on. You can't recover fast enough to fight 200 times in basically a weekend. It's like, dude, come on. And then the fastest knockout. No, it's all that stuff was just fake, and it was just like, okay, whatever. I'm glad we got that movie though, because we got Jean-Claude Van Damme out of it. So it's like, as goofy as it was, it worked, just for that sense. But again, that was a tournament. That was basically the Mortal Kombat blueprint.
It was.
Yeah.
So it's like, you get stuff like that. I think as far as American-made martial arts extravaganza, I don't think we're going to get that anymore.
Okay.
You're going to have, like you said, your Shang-Chi's, which are, they're comic
or
book inspired.
Mulan from the comics. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, I don't think you're going to get like that. We're not going to get American Ninja again. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to get that stuff again, because it's like,
no more Jim Cotta? Damn.
Right. It's not needed.
Okay.
It's like you've got the Raid. You've got other countries that are just doing it better.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, look, John Wick, it's kind of like there's an action / martial arts thing.
Yeah, but at least Keanu isn't even trying to do any real martial arts. It's all gunplay.
Well, no.
Yeah.
But you know what? They attempted to do that with what was it, Man of Tai Chi?
Yeah,
I think it was called, with Tiger Chin.
Yeah,
which was okay of a movie. So, but it's just like one of those things. I get what you're saying as far as like has something that's like homegrown for us with legit martial arts in it, like outside of like maybe like fight dramas or whatever the case may be. Like, yeah.
No, Dido, real quick. I look at John Wick because again, he obviously does use martial arts in the films, but his stuff is more or less take down so I get my headshot. All of his stuff is take down and get my headshot.
I get what you're saying, because it's completely different than what it was in the 80s. I don't see those coming back. And the problem is, even if they did, if it's starring a white dude, people are going to throw the freaking
Yeah.
Well,
thing.
you got
here's that.
But, I mean,
No, that's absolutely true. All right, so I think we've done a pretty good job. Great topic. Thank you, GQ. Appreciate that. So the power is yours, people. Let's talk about what you want.
The power is yours.
So real quick,
ahead.
and I know, like we were like essentially talking about like favorite martial arts films, and like
Yeah.
mine is still an older film, and it's not necessarily like the best flashy film, but it was like always one of the films I always go back to because of like how it was, and it actually made me interested in learning martial arts as a kid, even though it never happened. Was The Perfect Weapon starring Jeff Speakman.
Yes.
Perfect Weapon
I remember
was,
that.
yeah,
And
that was a good. I remember that. That was a
it
good
was
film.
Wasn't
it was like
didn't that have Rufio in it? Don
Yeah.
Tabasco was he?
Yeah.
In it? That's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, he was in it. Tanaka, old school Tanaka was in it.
Hiroyuki Tanaka. Okay.
Carrie, yep, he was in it. Carrie, can never remember his full name.
Who?
Carrie
A
Hiroyuki
man that plays
Tanaka.
Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
Carrie
Hiroyuki Tanaka.
Tagawa.
Thank you. I never remember it in succession, but yeah,
All I
he
know
was
is
in it.
that dude
and-
is a great villain.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah,
he might be one of the greatest ever.
But yeah, him. I think James Wong was in it, and like a
Wow.
lot. It's
Wow.
it was one of those movies that like I know like as far as it just made me interested in martial arts. Period.
White
And
martial
plus,
arts hero saves the day. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but but I think that was like one of the first martial arts films that I've seen during that time to where like a lot of like it's a lot of the fight scenes, the way it was orchestrated, it looked like how like something really looks like it's full contact, even though it's
Yeah.
whatever even looking back in today's thing, it looks like some of it was full contact or whatever. It probably wasn't, but like it was real enough looking for it to be, and I just thought it was well put together and stuff. And plus, that just made me interested in Korean martial arts because I know it's American Kempo, but it's supposed to be like him like growing up in like little Korea somewhere.
It is.
So
Hand of Omega's got a good one, man. Whatever happened to Jeff Speakman? Perfect Weapon was good. Dado, see if you can find what happened to Jeff Speakman after.
Speakman.
Yeah, Jeff Speakman. So I got a question for all of y'all on the panel. So we already saw what the top 5 scenes, right? What are your top 5 movies? Like top 5 martial arts movies that you've ever seen?
Oh man.
I know stuff, but
I gotta narrow it to 5. Damn.
Yeah, man, you gotta narrow it to 5, brother. What's top 5? You go first, man. You seem like you're a man of the culture, so
All right,
you go first.
Well, this is not gonna be in any particular order.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But Perfect Weapon is one. Another probably Fist of Legend, Jet Li.
Yep.
What else? Drive with Mark Dacascos.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought that one. Okay.
What else? I will say I'm gonna put The Protector up there because I think it was definitely like, as much as I liked the original On Bak, like The Protector kind of like took what On Bak did, it just really just amped it up more, and it like had better cinematography. So there's that, and that was what, 4, right? I mean, or was that 3?
It might be 3.
I think that was it sounded like.
So let me
you
see.
said Perfect Weapon, Fist of Legend,
Fist of Legend, Drive.
Oh, Drive. Okay.
Drive.
The Protector.
Okay, so
And The
yeah,
Protector.
you need one more.
So
Right.
and a Protector, and I'll probably put Legend of Drunken Master.
Okay. That's a solid list.
Real quick before I throw my list up there, John P said, anyone ever seen a Russian or Brazilian kung fu film?
Does Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos count?
Well, that was Capoeira.
Yeah, so
there's
I mean,
a
it's
lot of people-
Brazilian.
He said
so-
Brazilian.
He said Brazilian.
Kind
so-
I wonder if he means Brazilian as in produced and spoken in Portuguese.
I have
Really?
seen a movie. I have seen a movie that was produced in Brazil a few years back. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I know the guy who was the villain in the 3rd Boyka movie.
Okay.
He starred in it, but I can't remember what the name of it was. So, but it was decent. It was decent enough. Like it wasn't great, but like I just thought it was interesting looking at it, and it was just like, okay, it's a pretty decent martial arts flick or whatever. It wasn't a good movie, but the martial arts in it was pretty decent.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
I
actually
thought
gonna
I
look
saw a
this up
Russian
really
one, but I
quick.
can't remember the name of it.
Right. For me, my list, excuse me, would probably be obviously Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon's always going to be my list. I just don't care because that movie's awesome. Who Am I is definitely high on my list because I think that one really cemented like Jackie being one of my all-time favorites. The Raid.
Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
And like as much as I like the second one, the first one because it just like some of the stuff they did in that movie just took me by surprise.
Like literally one man army in a building. Come on, dude.
It
Full
just
of fucking
worked.
mercenaries.
And the one part that I really took from that was when they were trying to hide in the wall, and my man was just sticking that machete.
Yes, dude, that was
like,
wild.
Dude, it's like you took a machete to the face and didn't say a word.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, that's hardcore.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
So like stuff, that movie was awesome.
Oh man, that was a visceral ass movie.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, Bloodsport. I've always liked Bloodsport. It's like as cheesy as Bloodsport is, as bad as Forrest Whitaker's hair was in that.
It was all his lazy eye glory.
Right. And just some of the lines he was just like, whatever. That movie I've always liked that movie.
Yeah.
And that movie always came on Channel 20. And it was just like, it's like, dude, it's like I don't even necessarily have to buy this movie. It's just always on.
Yep.
But it was I've always liked Bloodsport. Like I remember the first year of school in the dorm, we was watching the hell out of that movie, man, because it was just one of those movies. And then I guess my fifth one would probably be Kickboxer. Actually, another Van Damme movie. Kickboxer. That really showed me the gritty power, the gritty power of Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Like just seeing, just like, dude.
I'll never forget that scene with him kicking the tree, dude. Are you kidding me?
Well, no, kicking the tree was definitely, but like I liked when his brother was going to go fight up against Tong Po.
Yeah, and he was kicking
the only thing you heard was, you just heard, boom, boom, boom. And it's like,
boom.
And this dude's kicking a pillar. I'm like, fuck, dude, are you kidding? It's like,
and it's just like, and like as a kid, you look at that thinking that's just movie shit, and then you grow up and it's like, no, they really get down like that shit.
I was like, dude, that really just was like, oh my god, this is crazy. How about you, Dado?
Yeah,
it's kind of hard for me to pick five.
I'll go
right now.
All right,
I'll go. So for me, Who Am I is definitely in my list. Bloodsport will always be on my list just because. I would watch that thing probably every day. I wore out the tape head on my VCR. He's playing that shit back and forth all day, every day. So those two, Enter the Dragon, Fist of Legend, is definitely in my list. And probably number 5 is I already said Who Am I, didn't I? Yeah. Number 5. Man, it's tough to pick that fifth one, but
last train leaving the station. What is it?
Yeah, man. Wow. Shit. I'll probably have to go with the Raid.
All right.
I'll probably have to go with the Raid.
All right. Gerald Boney said, "Look up Ngolo."
Ngolo, award-winning script about African martial arts, currently being made into a graphic novel and hopefully a film someday. Oh,
that'd be
good
awesome.
looking.
That sounds
good looking on that. Yeah, we'll look that up. Thank you.
Definitely put that one in there.
Yeah, man.
Look at Ace Arcadia. His top 5 looks like, or is she? I'm sorry, I don't know. Who Am I?
Raid
2, Fist of Legend, Warriors of the Sung Dynasty. The
Way of
the
the
Warrior,
Return of the
aka
Dragon.
Return of the Dragon.
So this, I mean,
that's Bruce versus Chuck Norris.
and this was the one. This was the fight that was on the list that I was just like shocked got 0 votes.
But again, it's a
I know it's
it's
recency
a
bias,
generational thing. It's not even that. It's just a generational thing.
Yeah.
See,
Agreed.
guys, I just thought about one.
What's that?
Ace is a he.
I just thought about the movie, and I'm hoping you guys have seen this.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys remember that movie Storm Riders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Been a while since I've seen
that
it.
right
Been a while,
there.
yes.
See that movie there is even as flashy was that movie to me
was
is what
flashy
proved
as
that
hell,
you
like
could
back
actually.
in the mid-90s.
It
Yes.
was. It was when you watch that movie. That movie proved that they can actually pull off a Dragon Ball Z movie if they
of
want.
course.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah,
always
yeah.
that was always the argument when they were talking about can they do? It's like look at Storm Riders.
Yeah, look at Storm Riders.
It's like
the effects they did in that movie. Are you kidding me?
like, dude.
That shit was wild.
That
John P said,
that-
"Ever see a kung fu film but done with puppets?" Okay,
I
apparently
probably
it's out
would
there,
want
so
to.
we gotta look that one up then.
Yeah.
I would definitely look forward to seeing that. And
Now, see, okay.
King to
what's
King got
another
two
one?
good ones.
Yeah.
He said Legend of the Red Dragon and Wind and Cloud.
Well, Wind and Cloud were in Storm Riders.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Legend of the Red Dragon was the one he was bringing up though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legend of the Red
Okay.
Dragon. But so here I'm going to ask you
I think
guys
that
one.
was a sequel, if I
Was-
remember correctly, but I don't remember.
Anybody disappointed? And I'm just asking, just throwing it out there. Was anybody disappointed with Jet Li's Hero?
Hero?
Yeah.
I think the problem with Hero for a lot of people was because Jet Li had just done something else that was did he do Fearless before Hero?
No,
Or
he
do
did Fearless after.
He did
Yeah.
something else before Hero, and I'm trying to remember what it
Well,
was.
Hero came out in 2002, so or 2000. No, yeah. What? Huh?
So,
Okay. It was done in 2002. We didn't get it until 04,
Let's
so
do
it was
a
like that
timeline.
gap.
So 1990,
So around
what
that
was it?
time,
Mhm.
that was what the one.
Yes, that was
you
it. It
had-
was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one. That
Well,
was
see,
it.
I like the one.
Yeah.
A lot
The
of
one was
yeah.
cool.
I was
though.
disappointed
Yeah.
the first time I saw it. I'm
Really?
not gonna lie. I
Okay.
don't know why,
Uh-huh.
but my memory, I remember sitting in that theater and feeling disappointed, and I do not remember. That's why I wanted to watch it again, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen it. I never bought it on DVD.
I got it on Blu-ray. I'll let you borrow it.
All right, because I
It's-
haven't seen it. in a
It's
bit.
it's a very entertaining movie in hindsight. The thing is,
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff at the time they probably rubbed you the wrong way, like at the
Mhm.
time. But like you watch it now, like it's entertaining as hell.
It's
I want to
entertaining.
see it again. 'cause
No.
I don't like
Bro.
whenever I see movies that I'm disappointed in the
Don't worry
first
about
time.
It'll be on my Plex by the end of the day.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I will
It'll be
go
on
back
my
and
Plex
watch
by
it
the end of the
again
day.
to get a different opinion about it. Because like a movie for me, it has to do a lot of stuff wrong for me to not like it. And being the fact I saw that movie such a long time ago, I can't tell you why I felt disappointed.
Oh, wait a minute. Is DBLK saying that he has not seen the one?
He might be saying that in the sense of we were trying to figure out what else came before that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Right. Because
you
the
have to
only
have
other
seen the
thing,
one. No,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to have seen the one.
right?
The one
Because
was just
the only
incredible.
thing within that time frame, of course, but of course, I knew that was before then. You had Cradle to the Grave, the
Yeah.
one,
Romeo Must Die.
and Romeo Must Die, and then
Of those two movies with DMX
What was
and
it?
Jet Li, which one's
Yeah.
the
What was the
better
one where he
one?
was in France?
Oh, that was
I-
what was
I
that? Kiss of
think-
the Dragon?
Yeah,
Kiss
Kiss
of
of
the
the
Dragon.
Kiss of the Dragon.
That
yeah.
was
Yeah, Kiss of the Dragon was another
yeah,
one.
that was
But
Jet Li.
if we're
That
if we're
was-
gonna choose between Romeo Must Die and Cradle to the Grave, it'll probably
Romeo
go
Must
to-
Die.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. Aaliyah. No, it's Romeo Must
Yeah.
Die. Aaliyah. Yes.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. Because you know what?
No
I
guns.
almost forgot what brought Cradle to the Grave down. Them damn fight scenes with Gabrielle Union. Awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
but I think what happened with Hero though, bringing it back to that,
Yeah.
is you had all of those movies with Jet Li because this is when Jet Li broke out over here.
Yeah.
Because obviously Lethal Weapon
Yeah.
4 was the first one.
Was that what, 94, 95?
No, that was
something like
97.
Yeah.
That was
And he-
97.
97?
He
Yeah.
played a bad guy in that movie either way,
Mhm.
which was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that was when he first, it was introduced again for the martial arts heads. We already knew who he was. We've seen his stuff. But for the the general audiences over here, who is this guy?
Right.
And it's just like you start to
Right.
see his movies, and then Hero comes out, and it's back to the traditional big epic style. And I think Hero was just a letdown after you saw this string of him doing this action stuff over here, because that one was more of a big epic. And it was just like,
Right. He did Unleashed after that,
yeah.
didn't he?
Black Mask was another one he did. Like Ace Arcadia had brought up. No,
Black
Unleashed
Mask, I
was
do
really
remember
good.
that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're right. So, man, this has been a riveting conversation. This has been a really good one. Really, 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 really good one. But we are running up on time, and we are trying our best to stay on task. How do we do
Stay
that?
on target.
I think we stay on target. I would love that. I think we did pretty good today. You guys?
Yeah,
Yeah?
not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't
But
too
dude,
bad.
this has been a lot of great talk about, man, it's like really revitalized my energy for watching some martial arts movies. So I might have to definitely watch some on this Memorial Day weekend. Anybody else got any plans?
Memorial Day weekend?
Going
I
anywhere?
want to make some
Memorial Day?
hamburgers.
Anybody going anywhere?
I ain't
I
going
didn't even
nowhere.
know it was
Where you gonna
Memorial
go?
Day.
Where you gonna go?
No, hey, that's why I had to ask. Anybody going anywhere? You like doing anything?
I'm gonna go to my backyard maybe.
There you go.
You can order some carry out, and then maybe get some curbside pickup for some movies.
Carry out
I want
on
to make
Memorial
some, I
Day.
wanna
That
make
ain't
some
American.
hamburgers.
That's
I
not
just gotta
American.
find those King Hawaiian buns.
Well, you know,
Not
Yeah.
the
I'll-
little bitty one.
the
Right.
real
The
deal.
big one.
I'll
Buns.
probably-
Buns. Yeah.
I'll probably catch back up on Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Federation
not
Scott
to be a
Pilgrim
King,
Counseling. Okay.
King Takeem says there needs to be a part 2 soon, and we can make that happen. We can make that happen.
We'll definitely
do
come
it,
back.
yeah,
Martial
we'll
arts,
definitely
again,
come back.
martial arts films is always an easy topic to
Yeah,
talk about.
absolutely
it's
it
just,
is.
Oh, most definitely, man. It's just like it. Look, between it's just too many legends in the game for us to not talk about it, and it's
Oh, yeah.
too many
Without a
legends
doubt.
martial arts films for the longest, dude. It's like, come on now.
So maybe maybe the next one will have to be like who is the next generation that we need to be looking out for. Maybe
That's fair.
maybe we'll do that one.
John P, where are you at? Where you saying the malls are opening? I'm curious.
Right.
'Cause
Right, 'cause
I've
Some
really
I
been
don't-
paying attention if we're getting malls open.
Right. I ain't trying to go to
I've
the mall right
well,
now.
I don't know. I honestly don't care. The mall is still one of my favorite places to go.
Sure.
I just
Yeah.
have gotten used to just UPS and various people dropping
Right.
stuff off for me lately.
I've
so
seen
it's
a
like,
couple of restaurants open back up for dining in, but I won't be returning
no.
for the.
I don't-
Didn't
I ain't trying to
Magneto
dine
say
in.
it best? Was it the third movie where he says, it's kind of like chess. You let the pawns go first.
yeah, that was an X-Men.
Yeah, that was
Stand.
yeah.
Oh, he's in Milwaukee. He's out at the
Oh,
Great
okay.
American
so-
Mall, right?
Yeah. No, Mall of America is
Mall of
in.
America.
Mall of America is
I
in.
thought it's Minnesota.
Is that Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay, my
That's
bad. My bad.
Minnesota.
Yeah, he's
He's
out
in
there.
Cheesehead,
He's
though.
out there above
Indianapolis.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Well, obviously past.
Yeah.
Best villains.
Best villain. Pay May versus Show
Bolo.
Show enough.
Bolo had all the best films.
Pie May
G.
all day, dude. Are you kidding me?
Show enough.
Okay. Show enough is
Bolo.
great,
Show enough is great.
but
No,
Pie
Bolo,
May,
man. I'm sorry, Bolo.
Yeah.
I gotta go
well,
with
no,
Bolo,
Bolo
man.
was,
It's like,
Bolo
look,
was another good
Bolo
one.
was another one,
Bolo
yeah.
was, man.
He
Bolo
stayed-
was
he
showed up
stayed
so many
being
Van
a good
Damme
villain.
movies looking scary.
All right. We got to wrap it up. So next week we're going to be talking about the midway point of the anime spring season. There's been some pretty good ones. So we'll give you our thoughts and chop it up about some of our favorite anime. So if you haven't been watching, now's the time to start watching over Memorial Day weekend. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, episode 214. We want to thank our Patreon supporters, Courtney Jenkins and Fab Nerd Life. Thank you for your support. If you would like to be a patron for Culture Junkies, go to patreon.com/Culture Junkies and please donate a pledge. You can do it for as little as $1. For my good friends, the Great Dadakuji, GQ, Fallen Marvel, I'm Kashiro. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great one. See ya.
all right, y'all have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Clean your hands. All that shit.
Yeah, wash your